Well, good afternoon, SSDA Nation, and happy fiscal new year. I always call June 30th the end of the fiscal year and celebrate with all the fiscal people and superintendents and board that worked so hard to really go into next year. And congratulations, I got my little Winnie the Pooh. Sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. Also got all kinds of 4th of July stuff here. Even got a pinwheel for you guys to get ready for the 4th of July. And again, Happy New Year to you. It's been a crazy year, and looking forward to taking on next year with you guys as we get started. So I thought I'd bring you guys together another leadership video, kind of talk about the year we had ahead of us, maybe get rid of the hat in a second here. So let me get the PowerPoint up and I'll share my screen with you. And again, I think it's important because everybody works so hard, you forget to celebrate the end of a year, especially with LCAP and on the wait for the budget this year. It's really important, I believe, to step back and go, wow, what a year that was. You know, we always talk about December 31st, but really this is the big one for us, June 30th. And to me, I just look back and go, what a year. You know, I got the new job here and I was excited about that, and started right off with the largest earthquake we've had in decades. Had 12 people killed in a 3-day span in this fall. One was a school shooting of those 3. Had the greatest economy ever. Things were looking really good. Throw in the college admissions scandal, which I think will really separate college admissions. Then we had the whole COVID era. Then we had the killing of Mr. George, which I think is really going to change who we are as really education providers and leaders. The COVID and all the other things created a very crazy state budget. We were looking big time great in January. Then we got the bad news in May revise, and all of us worked hard to get your final budget. And I think one of the most exciting things that happened this year is it finally woke up people how bad the digital divide is and how many kids are really suffering from that. So I really do like to reflect on the year. And I think it's really important that you thank the people who really stepped up this year with a personal phone call. And I think you personally call them, you thank them. It could be somebody at your county office, a fellow colleague, your board members, your team. And really with a couple of them just say, can you believe that year? You can't make this stuff up, right? What a year we had. And really go back on that year and thank them, because you're really going to need them as we go into next year. So I put together for you some leadership tips for the upcoming year. I hope you take them and go through them and polish them as you take some time off, hopefully the next week or two. And I would start off right away with reviewing your leadership capacity, because it's going to be tested to the fullest. Your leadership will be tested to the fullest in 2021. And it's really time during this downtime, quote unquote, go back and look at Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership. I love these 10 rules for success he put together. You're going to hear from throughout my little speech here. Get yourself a mentor, someone you don't know to help you. And you have to mentally prepare for a mountain that you've never climbed. Some of you have been around a long time and can say, hey, I've been through this and I've been through that. But this will be a mountain we've never climbed before. We didn't get all the way to the top this year. I think we did our best, but there's going to be higher expectations for serving kids with much more unpredictability. And that mountain, when you get to the top, will not have a clear view. I think it'll be very cloudy and beautiful, but very, I think, challenging for all of us. So I think the second tip that I wanted to provide for you, and let me take my hat off because I really believe in these things. You're all working so hard to plan your school year and the return to school. And you need to let them know that constantly, that you're planning your school year. But there's a couple things that we know for a fact that will change that, and reason why your plan will change. And I think the unpredictability of the behavior of COVID, what we're dealing with the racism things, with the leadership throughout the United States, the presidential election, and even in the California leadership, I think there's really all kinds of unpredictability It's going to force and have to adjust your plan. Remember, this is a pandemic, not a winter flu. This is territory no one's ever been in. And so you're writing a plan based on what you think is the best evidence and science and recommendations, but that's going to change. And then also, you know, this is the most frustrating part for me is a lot of people are making decisions for you that don't work with students or parents or staff. You do. So you're having to write these plans for people that don't have to be around the kids, and they're putting together some new frameworks, let's say for distance learning, because they have this vision of what they've researched, but they're not there during a pandemic dealing with kids and parents. That's going to create some change in your school plans because leaders are stepping in your way, in my opinion. So I saw this with Stephen Jobs that you need to be a thinker and a doer. Some people are great thinkers. Some people get it done. Very few do both. So you have to spend some quiet time with yourself, with some of your core people that you lead the school with. And then you have to lean on your doers. You're going to need them more than ever. In fact, I would pick up the phone. I used to do this as a coach and call a player and go, I'm really going to need you to play some D this weekend. You know, I really need you to step your game up as the point guard. I really need you to be ready in the bullpen. We're expecting you to come out of there and do a great job. So you have to set the stage, get your doers lined up, get your thought process, think through things, and really set the stage and let your community know we're going to be in a ready, fire, aim. What we do every day could change. What we do weekly could change. That's new for schools. That's the way it is. In a 2-week period, we've seen a drastic change here in California with the COVID and bars being closed again and things shutting down for the 4th. That's what you're going to be doing day in and day out. I really think it's important. A lot of people think when people are dealing with, I would say, crises and, you know, change and all those things, you need to remind people that your core school values are not going to change that much. You're going to have to approach them differently and come up with that. And you need to remind your people over and over. People love to say, hey, you know, Tim's always changing things. And I like to go back and go, here was our goals from last year. Here's which ones we hit. We actually didn't change that much. We made adjustments. We tailored things for others to make things happen for different programs. But just remind people, you really do stay focused on your core mission and your values and who you are as a leader. But you have to tell them that because they're going to say, oh my God, here she goes again. She has another idea, blah, blah, blah. When in fact, you're just trying to meet the needs that your board goals are, your school goals, your mission, and really your values as a leader. I think this is the hardest one because it's such a lonely profession in small schools and in general. Leadership is very difficult, but you have to trust yourself. You don't listen to those voices. I've been saying this a lot. It's easy to say, be bold, be confident, be yourself, be like that duck. They always say the duck is paddling 1,000,000 miles an hour, can have water bounce off the duck's shield, but really show your confidence and reflect on what you're doing well. Reflect on what you are doing well. That's so hard to do because there's be a lot of things that aren't coming together. But in reality, when you step back, you're doing way more things well than not good. So I'm not going to beat around the bush. I think 2021 will be a lot harder to lead, to be a superintendent, to be a board member, to be a leader in schools than anyone can think of. And I think we've all been around a lot. We've all had issues. But in some ways, knowing this makes it easier. I think it's when it kind of rears its head and you don't see it coming, it's that. So you know you're going into a really tough year. Let's say you set a goal to be a marathon runner and the most you've ever run is 10 miles. Well, you're going to have to go 26.5, right? And I've seen this over and over during tough times in my leadership era. Something else is going to jump up and really punch you right in the stomach or in the gut. And it just happens when there's really rough things going on. Something else pops up. Someone on your staff could be dealt a medical issue. You could have a tragedy within your community. Something personal can happen. So just prepare for that. You still have to finish the marathon, right? So if you look ahead, That'll help you. And I think if you really look backwards, map up, you'll see some big target marks, right? This year, we're really hoping the feds pay us by October 1. We know this new budget for the January is coming out. We know that there'll be a May revise. We know that there'll be a budget coming in. You have these benchmarks that you could flag now and continue to look ahead so you can deal with how bad it's going to be and how tough it's going to be. But if you're prepared for it, it's a little easier. You will also have some of your finest moments as a leader ever, right? It's pretty easy to lead during great times, but you will find out that your greatest moments and reflections will be this year and next year, because you're going to climb that mountain peak you've never been before. Your community is going to remember this forever, and some of the things you did that were help them get through it. They'll remember that 50 years from now, and I think it's a really good time for that. And I think really you guys celebrate those fine, and I put M, it's supposed to be moments, memories, things that really are important to you. Stop for a second and celebrate those moments. When you kick off that new year, however you're going to do your schedule, that's a moment no one will ever forget, right? You'll signature that and you'll time capsule that. So therefore, really step back and enjoy those leadership moments that you're going to do, and they're going to be awesome, are going to be some of your best you'll ever remember the rest of your career. So you're going to have meltdowns. Don't get over it. You're going to melt down. There's no way even the strongest leader is not going to have some meltdowns. You just don't want to make them public. You want to make them private. But there's going to be moments where you just say, I can't do this anymore, right? I can't take one more change, or I can't take one more thing from that board member. I can't take one more thing from that staff. Can't take one more meeting with the public health, right? So you're going to have the meltdowns. Just make sure they're quick meltdowns, and that you got to mentor somebody to help you pull out of it, right? It's okay to be human during this time and have some meltdowns. Just you can't lengthen those out too long, right? And so I think when you have, everyone has them. Sometimes it's 2 a.m, sometimes it's in your office, sometimes it's while you're in the hallways. And so therefore, they're coming. Just be prepared for that. I can't emphasize this enough. It's so important for CSBA, for SSDA, for AXA, and for everyone to have a real honest conversation with the boards during this critical time. Oops. Go back, excuse me. Sorry about that. So it's really important. It's crucial, right? They are going to be under intense pressure throughout the year to deliver and support you and keep your budgets in line, knowing that there could be a declining enrollment or a lot of trouble. So you have to straight up call them one-on-one and talk to them about that. And you really have to train them how to be a leader. We don't do a great job of this with our governance boards, and some of you are getting much better. But you have to provide them with role model and also examples. Sundale School District Board did a beautiful video thanking the staff for a wonderful year. It was very genuine. They were like in horse barns and other places, and it was really, really well done. You can't avoid the tough communication with that one person who's a block, staff, board, whatever. And again, I think for your board, I would backwards map and highlight some key points of the year so they're prepared for those ups and downs. And believe me, they're just as scared as you are going into this year. And they want to make sure everybody's safe and they can get through school. But you really have to work on this one a lot, and especially over the summer. Let us know if SSDA can help in any way. And then lastly, I think you have to be a positive, proactive, make decisions. Look, I saw a post from Don down in Palo Alto, great superintendent. He says, hey, I called for a suicide squeeze, didn't work, we lose the game, but I made that decision, right? A decisive leader has to make a decision. It may not always be the right one, but it's better it's decisive than constant, what is he or she trying to do? And keep it laser focused on the students. That's not corny or Pollyannish. That's not weak. I would just say, get out of my way, people. I'm here for students and to support students and the teachers that are trying to get things done in the classroom. And if you want to put me off that track, get out of my way. And then lastly, again, get yourself a mentor in this area too. Keep your spirits up, keep firing up. You're going to have your meltdowns, but keep it going. So remember, we're here for you. We're a nation. SSDA has really stepped up. I'm so proud of our board and Corey, the work she's doing in Capital Advisors. And I think we're going to continue to fight for you. We're going to celebrate your students. We're going to mentor, guide, push. We're going to close that digital divide. And to tell you the truth, we're going to fight like hell. I'm ready for the fight for you guys. We are going to keep the eye to help small schools out as much as possible. I love your guys' emails where you feel more confident that we can tackle the big dogs. Let's do this and have a great upcoming year. So happy new fiscal new year to you. I wanted to raise my glass. Cheers. Wish it was champagne. It's not. That'll be at 5. Have a good one, and thank you so much for all you do for kids and for being part of SSDA Nation. And I hope you get a couple days off. I know you're not going to get a ton, but I hope you get some time off. Take care.